Have you ever made the claim that something you did was not you, but was actually a changeling that did that horrible thing? Sure, we've all done it. Taking 14 cakes when we ordered 12. Pranking Rainbow Dash by putting bleach in her shampoo. And, of course, sending Sweetie Belle to talk with a group of bloodthirsty crocodiles. I'm sure she's fine, though. We'll have this and more stories tonight, along with Ivan in the continuing coverage of Ponycision 2012. Mares in a Minute, Horseshoes and Hand Grades, and a new segment where we invite Scootaloo to come to the studio to do a live science demonstration detailing the myriad uses of purified potassium. It seems that Scootaloo's segment on potassium has been cancelled, and the tree brewery has once again exploded. On the plus side, Twilight can learn about the terminal velocity of her books, something I'm sure she's always wanted to know. I'm Joe Stevens, and this is the Equestria Inquirer. Phil. Continuing our story regarding the ruling that saying a changeling committed a crime you had been accused of, such as Scootaloo blowing up the tree brewery using 8 ounces of potassium. Just 8 ounces, that stuff's potent. That's why it would have been an interesting segment. Well, that defense is no longer valid. These and other crimes had previously gone unpunished due to this now overruled rule. After it became recognized that one could just say it was a changeling that did those horrible things, and not the offending party, ponies could get away with everything. Even neglecting your duties to defend the kingdom during a changeling attack. Not that I'm saying that a changeling Luna was not impersonating Luna sleeping during the changeling attack. No, not at all. The defense actually makes sense. Since a changeling can literally look like, and in all legal respect, be another pony, it's a pretty clear argument that it wasn't Rarity that assaulted Photo Finish with a sea bass after receiving an admittedly overly negative review, but in actuality was a changeling. After all, Rarity wouldn't stoop to using a fish as weapon unless the dress had been absolutely perfect and the changeling who committed the assault, not Rarity, would be perfectly justified in doing so, which Rarity didn't do. Unfortunately, ponies now have to prove that a changeling was impersonating them, which ponies like those in Rarity's situation were unable to do. After the ruling, of course, a changeling entered the courtroom and beat every pony over the head with a 30-pound mackerel, thus being the first and only actual proof that a changeling would impersonate another pony in a crime. With this new ruling in place, ponies are having to revert to not being able to get away with breaking the law. It also has positive effects, unknown previously, as some had used the ruling of a changeling did it to challenge some of several speed records, as some had speculated that Rainbow Dash had actually been a changeling and not been responsible for her various Sonic Rainbooms and other records. This argument had been easily challenged, however, as Rainbow Dash had previously imposed various legal and personal identity protections after successfully defeating Spike in an identity theft lawsuit. While the ruling is in its meaning that ponies will once again be held responsible for their actions, it does make one wonder, what if a changeling actually were impersonating some pony and committing a crime? How difficult would that be to prove? The question is too complex an examination of the equestrian legal system for me to care to make. So I'm just going to hit my head against the table as I frustratingly figure out how to get all of these parking tickets set aside as I try to appeal with the a changeling dig it argument. Nope, still don't understand the equestrian legal system. We have breaking news from the scientific community. We finally know what has caused Pinkie Pie to have such abnormal abilities. Many have speculated that the source of Pinkie Pie's strange and physics-defying actions were some kind of psychic deformity, aliens, and caterpillars. Not sure why caterpillars, but no one knew anything about Pinkie Pie, and it seemed a good enough thing to blame at the time. Plus, caterpillars are sneaky, and what with all those eating leaves and turning into butterflies? What secrets are you hiding, caterpillars? Thanks to doubters of aliens and pro-caterpillar ponies, however, we now know exactly what makes Pinkie Pie able to do what she does. Cake. Yes, cake. It seems that cake has a mutagenic component to it that, when consumed in excess quantities, creates in ponies precognition of falling objects, controlled self-metamorphosis, and something called fourth wall control. It also gives you a discount on cleaning supplies for some reason. No pony is quite sure what level of cake one must consume to gain these abilities, but based on estimates of Pinkie Pie's everyday cake-eating habits, it is quite large. Apparently in small doses, cake just tastes good and makes you happy. At high levels, it makes you fat and gives you diabetes. At extremely high levels, cake ignites a series of metabolic reactions that alters a pony's DNA and blood cycle, destroying any diabetes contracted with a sort of reverse diabetes that gives those who look at you diabetes and makes you explode in a sugary rush that never ends and makes you sneeze confetti. In this sense, you are no longer a consumer of cake, but are perhaps cake. Or perhaps the next evolutionary step in ponies. Attempts to recreate the results have ended horribly. Test subjects ingested enough cake to create a reaction, but were unable to control their ability to manipulate the fourth wall, and were lost in a dark abyss, later appearing in a place known only as Vancouver, never to be heard from again. No pony is quite sure why cake has these mutagenic properties, but researchers warn ponies not to attempt to seek these abilities for fear too many ponies will find themselves in Vancouver and like it too much, and insist that in low doses, cake continues to be perfectly safe. We asked Pinkie Pie what she thought about the discovery that it was her eating way too much cake that gained her these abilities. She had this to say: "Your real name is not Joe Stevens, and you don't live in Humansville. I know your family and friends and nutty business life. Let's have a party about your real life. You can invite your friend Austin. Go to Mayor's in a minute. Pinkie Pie stopped eating cake and knowing things."
Thanks, Joe. And thank you, intern. You're awesome. The industrial complex that provides all of the weather for Equestria came under fire this past week for its questionable hiring practices. In debate is whether its policy to only hire Pegasi is a form of discrimination against unicorns and Earth ponies. This reporter thinks that it is, and will not rest until the life of every Pegasus responsible is completely destroyed. Others, however, have different, less vengeful opinions. When asked for comment, Brayburn said, "Tight fair." Weather Factory foreman Hefty Hooves pointed out that there are good reasons for their Pegasi-only position.
Okay, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but the simple fact is only Pegasi can walk on clouds. You know what the factory's made out of. I'll give you a hint. It ain't titanium. If we start hiring non-Pegasi, we'd start seeing our employee attendance plummet. Literally, through the floor, to their doom. You thought Discord's chocolate rain was bad? Try some pony rain, because that's what you're going to be seeing if we change our policy, and the result ain't going to be pretty.
We wanted to see if his claims were accurate, so as part of an undercover investigation, we outfitted an Earth pony with a hidden camera and sent them, disguised as a Pegasi, to the factory to see exactly what the conditions were and whether what he was saying was true. This is the footage we received. The video continues like that for another minute or so before cutting off abruptly. Equal rights organization, haughty institution granting hope and help over restrictive sky-based employment, or High Horse, opposes the factory's stance and says the company is just not willing to take the steps necessary to make working in Cloudsdale possible for non-Pegasi. High Horse suggests that many things could be done, from installing enchanted steel walkways and ladders, to outfitting workers with helium balloon harnesses, to installing a massive ball pit on the ground beneath Cloudsdale so that falling ponies have something soft and fun to land in. Pinkie Pie has even volunteered to shuttle ponies to and from the factory via her rickety, terrifying flying contraption.
I promise that going up to Cloudsdale and my whirly doohickey is super duper fun! Just don't stand up while the rotors are spinning, otherwise it becomes super duper deadly!
So far, no pony has been crazy enough to take her up on that offer. High Horse has also pointed out that non-Pegasi have been able to walk on clouds before, thanks to the application of a magical aura by Twilight Sparkle, and I've asked why she can't simply use the same spell on potential factory employees. In response to this, Twilight said the following.
Are you crazy? That spell only lasts a few hours, tops. I would have to keep casting it over and over again for every pony that needed it. I would be burned out after a week, and I'm already pulling 20-hour days just to keep up with my advanced studies. Do you expect me to just go without sleep completely? You know, a pony can only consume so many 5-hour energy drinks before she starts thinking the walls are breathing.
She then proceeded to swat at some giant 3-headed mosquitoes that only she could see. For the time being, the Weather Factory is allowed to continue with its existing hiring policy, despite High Horse's protests. High Horse is currently appealing to Princess Celestia to force the factory to change its stance. In response, the princess made this statement.
Since when have I ever stepped in to help any pony who wasn't a direct family member? You're on your own. But let me know if my niece Cadence ever applies for a job there. Because if they don't hire her, I promise there will be consequences. Lunar consequences.
This controversy comes soon after a previous scandal involving the Rainbow Factory, where it was reported that a single soul got through, forcing them to completely reevaluate their safety practices and procedures. Thankfully, EQI doesn't have to worry about such scandals because we have a pristine safety record. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go take these sharp, pointy scissors and run them over to LDT Moose.
Once again, we have reached out to our political correspondent Ivan with an update on the election for Princess of Equestria between Princess Celestia and Princess Luna.
Ivan in space.
Ivan, do you have an update for us on the campaign
Ivan
trail?
still lost. End up in galaxy long time ago, far, far away. Took wrong turn exiting freeway, Ivan suppose.
Okay, well, what are the voters saying in that area?
Ivan find voters very polarized. Ivan say, who you vote for, Princess Luna or Princess Celestia? And voters say, oh, we for light side. Ivan say, why for not Princess of Night? And they say, Ivan be for dark side. Ivan trying to maintain journalistic neutrality, but this is very hard to do when person for what interviewing tried chop off Ivan legs with light sword.
That's terrible!
He's okay. Ivan make for one light sword too. Very good for what making table, Ivan think. Thankfully, make table for Celestia supporter with light sword. Make Celestia side supporter happy and not chop off legs. Is good for health.
Okay, are there any Luna supporters?
Da. Ivan find Luna supporters. Say light side is weak. Probably statement against Celestia's foreign policy.
Right, did they go into specific reasons?
No, Luna supporters shoot Ivan with lightning.
Lightning?
Very rude, Ivan thinking. Luna supporters say light is weak, dark is good. It's okay political stance to make, but no need shoot Ivan with lightning just for what ask why support candidate.
Right, did they hurt you?
Ivan is okay. Ivan needed to charge Ivan's cell phone anyway. Ivan insult Luna, get shot by lightning, fully charged phone is good for health. Now Ivan use cell phone, call cab, and currently in space heading toward moon.
Okay, well, safe travels and hopefully you'll be back soon.
Ivan thinks so. Is very many Luna supporters, Ivan thinking.
Oh?
They even make giant moon show support Princess Luna. Uh-oh.
What?
That's no moon.
Oh, great. Okay, well, thank you, Ivan. And here's LTT Moose with this week's Horseshoes and Hand Grenades.
Horseshoes and hand grenades, we don't have to get it right on the first try. Yeah. This is the most fun ever. Oh, it was just as great as everyone said it would be. Oh my God, the fun has been doubled. Oh God. Oh. Okay. We're good. We're good. We are good. Yeah. Well, okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. Good evening, citizens. I am LTT Moose, and I can still do this. Yes, okay. I am a professional. Adapt, react, and overcompensate. Tonight, we focus on the mining rights of jewels in the Diamond Dog territory. Yes, joining me tonight is for this discussion is Miss Aurora Launchpad. Go.
Thank you. But I thought we were going to be discussing the landing of the probe on... Oh my. Are you all right? What happened to you?
Nothing. Nothing. Just a final scratch. Perfectly fine. I'm a professional.
You're not fine. Your eye is missing.
No, it's not. I know exactly where I left it.
Shouldn't you see a doctor about that?
Hey, already saw a doctor. Left side of a doctor. He said he was a doctor. He also said he was a president and a robot, amongst other things. But he's got an office in the lean-to next to our office building. Set me up with this stylus eye filch.
I mean a real doctor, not a panhandler.
Joe does not provide health insurance for the reporters. With all the explosions, the premiums would be astronomical.
We have universal health care here, and I really think you should go. I think you might have something wrong with your brain.
Don't you pay my brain no mind. It doesn't know what's best. For it I do. Beside, I learned my lesson from Twilight Sparkle about not blowing things out of proportions and sweeting the small stuff. I'm protractional. Gloaming this interview.
Okay, if I go along with this, will you please go to
You've
the
got a
hospital?
grill. Now then, diamond dogs have been complained about ponies mining gems on sacred burial hounds. Disrupting the sprockets of their dead and increasing rate of poltergeists by a whopping 500 kajigers. Celestia has countered that you can't claim a burial ground when your whole society is under the dirt. Your thoughts! Go!
Well, again, all of my notes were centered around a space probe. Let me think. I mean, the Pegasi don't lay claim to the entire sky, so I think a president could be set by... Oh, you're not scratching at it, are you?
Of course I'm itch, is it? What do you expect me to do? I now I can smell numbers. Changing topics! If you had your choice of being topic head of your field or having rabies, which would you choose? Go.
I can't.
Simple question. Alright, simple pony. Please answer.
Can this please be my last question?
Hey! Is it 4 horses?
Yes?
Good answer. Good answer. Well, that's all the time. Oh, we have. Join us next week when Colonel Sanders reveals the location of the Jade Monkey. Black to Fujo.
I've just been informed that a human attempting to gain superpowers by eating too much cake is ill-advised and will just make you fat. Except for that one time. And that one time a human gained powers over the fourth wall, it reduced the entirety of the world's population to crying wrecks as we discovered our lives were all false and nothing but entertainment for a greater power. Wait, I don't think I was supposed to say that. Just one more episode until Everfree Northwest join the Equestria Inquirer for live coverage of the convention and all the fun interviews. Watch the Equestria Inquirer's live coverage and terrific new interviews of Everfree Northwest for reals on Everfree Radio. And be sure to check out next week's All Freelance issue. Once again, we will be taking your content to create the issue. Send in articles to The New Joe Stevens, all one word, that's The New Joe Stevens at gmail.com. And we'll even use the freelance articles to create script. We're very excited. We're going to be filming the entire episode based on user-submitted material. It's viewer-created show. Hooray! Just don't make me say silly things. Or more silly things. Or Pickle Bear. I'm Joe Stevens, and this has been the Equestria Inquirer. Good night, and good luck.
I promise that going... Blah, blah, blah. Otherwise... I promise that going up to Cloudsdale my whirly doohy... I promise that going up to Cloudsdale my whirly doohy... Really doohickey. Why is that hard? I promise that going up to Cloudsdale my whirly doohy... I promise that going up to Cloudsdale my whirly doohickey... Hey, sorry.
Pinky, why are you so hard?
I don't know, I just am.
I hate you right now.
I love you too.